Welcome back to insideX, another episode here coming at you. And we got another good one. We got that 450 recap. We had the 250s last week, the Young Bucks. We're going to talk about the old dogs. Some of them are old, some of them are still young. But we're going to talk about their year in the Triple Crown. Some had some good motocross and not so good supercross. Some had some just so-so motocross and some great supercross. So we're going to catch up with all those. I'm going to bring iMoto back in the studio and just discuss the 450 breakdown. After that, we got some Triple Crown awards. We have about 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember. We got some awards to give out. Rookie of the Year, Track of the Year, a couple other ones there. So we're going to find out who are the winners there, the big winners, as well as a Royal Distributing unboxing. We're going to go back to the farm. We seen last week trying out that FMF pipe. Let's see what they ship us this week. I'm hoping it's some goodies, some traction maybe. Thinking some traction would be good. I don't know, giving little hints out there, Royal. Lastly, the Husqvarna social media check-in. And we're going to check in with the amateur champions. Last week, we seen the pro champions, the Rosinas, the Brodeurs, the Thompson, the Wrights. And this week, we're going to check in with the Walton Transcan amateur riders. So see who won there, see who took home those big championships. There was a couple really good ones there. So we're going to check in with those guys. Lastly, I'd like to thank Parts Canada. They support the sport, and they hook us up with the Thor gear, the Alpine Star gear, all the good parts there. So support them. Go to your local dealer. Say, hey, show me that Parts Canada catalog. I want to see what I can get. I want to see what can get me $500 of stuff. Hook me up. So check those guys out. Royal Distributing, obviously they send us lots of goodies to test out, try out. So check those guys out. They have 4 stores, but they have a killer online store. Check them out on royaldistributing.com. And lastly, Yamaha. And those guys hooking up the Blue Crew. We've seen Marco Canella out there ripping. We've seen Sean Moffenbauer. We've seen Kyle Thompson out there ripping. Just kidding. But we were testing some parts on those things. So check out Yamaha Motor Canada. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with some insideX. All right, welcome back to insideX. Again, iMoto Films in the booth. I don't say it like Galdi. Isaiah Reed joining me here again. We're going to break down the 450s this time. We've seen the 250s, and man, what a crazy year was. I feel like the 450s, like Galdi would say, a little bit of yawn fest maybe sometimes, but we're still going to break it down. I think it was still good racing, especially when Pettis and Wright were going at it for that national championship, but we're going to go right from the top. The Triple Crown winner himself, Cole Thompson. He got a Supercross championship as well, like just pure dominance there. 4 wins, 6 podiums through his Triple Crown year. What are your thoughts? I think obviously Supercross, he's lights out. The fan favorite coming in. Maybe not the fan favorite, but the rider favorite, our favorite. I don't know. He was the favorite to win.
Yes. Cole Thompson. I mean, he kind of had the year that I would say most people pegged. Except for him. If you had talked to him, he was coming into the outdoors to kind of seal the deal on the one championship that he's never been able to get, 450 Pro Outdoor title. Yeah. And, talk to him. Like, he'll say it, I'll say it. He's disappointed. He came up way short on that. He didn't deliver up to what he was hoping to do. Round 1, we saw some glimpses. Great sprint speed on him again this year. He was probably one of the only, I would say 3 that could show Dylan a wheel at all times of a race. He was pretty good. Just fell short. He was a 4th place guy in the outdoors. 4th place guy.
He'll tell you himself. He was a 4th place guy, and I think talking to him, obviously he's my brother, but he couldn't get his mental game into it. He was just like suffering from just like, and I just get out there and I'm in La La Land. He's like, I forget I'm racing motocross for championship points. He's just like going through the motions. And man, maybe a mental coach, Cole. I don't know, but either way, going to Supercross, I remember helping him get his track rebuilt to going over there, the skid steer, getting it dialed in. The first day on it, he texted me. He's like, "Oh my, this is the best. I love it." He's like, "I'm so pumped to be on a dirt bike right now," and that wasn't the case all year. So it sparked a new interest in him to do some AMA Supercross. So maybe we'll see him head down there, maybe some AMA Arena Cross, and then just race the indoors up here. I think he might be completely over the outdoors. Who knows?
Yes, I'd say he's very on the verge, if not already there. Great indoor speed. It's done well at that for years and years, and you can tell he just really loves to be on his dirt bike when he does that. Aside from that, I would say that who knows, again, he's another guy that, just like we were talking about last week in the 250s, Tanner doesn't have a ride.
Yep.
Cole's kind of in the same boat. But it's crazy. Tanner didn't deliver a single championship. Cole delivered 2. He delivered the biggest one, which is the overall and the Supercross. And not only the Supercross, but a clean sweep. Like you said earlier in the show, he, I think, didn't lead 2 laps.
Yeah, two of the laps he didn't lead in that the 450 Supercross. I think it was 114 out of 116 laps.
He stalled one.
He stalled one and got he didn't get the whole shot. The one, and Welton's the only other rider to lead 2 laps.
Unbelievable. So, in my brain, doesn't still make a whole lot of sense. I mean, from the teams, it's just
the industry's going to come back, and maybe there's not room for somebody that just wants to do the indoor. I mean, that makes sense. Makes sense. They want to sign somebody. They want to do it all.
Yeah.
So maybe, Cole, you might have to do outdoors again, buddy.
Yeah.
But regardless, he had a great year. And, maybe he wouldn't have won the Triple Crown without Wright obviously going down. And then Pettis having his injuries. But, you know what? I said in the broadcast to Galdi, I said it's not or what do they say? It's a hockey term. They don't ask you how, they ask you how many. And that's what, I mean, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, he's got 2 Triple Crowns. I'm like, that's the most 450. And I could see Dylan being the guy next year and matching that. But for this year, he'll hold that crown.
This year, I mean, and who knows? That's the thing. You got to be in it to win it. They say that all the time. And, unfortunate injuries, you hate to. And I'm sure he doesn't love to win that way. With Welton going out in the Supercross, Jess going out in an awful way and motocross, and then Dylan with another very scary crash in Supercross. So losing a lot of our contenders to that.
I was actually hyped for the next guy we're talking about on the end, because he was 7-point lead over Cole, Marshall Welton, with 1 win, 9 podiums on the year, but he was 7 points going into that last weekend, and then he hurt his shoulder, and it's just like not even riding, swimming. But Welton. And I think he would say the same thing, like as Cole said, Cole was the 4th place guy, we say. He was like a 3rd place guy in the outdoors. So, I mean, like he would say it himself. Like those guys own it, and they know what they did. But awesome riding out of Welton, getting his first ever 450 win, too.
Yeah, unbelievable year. Came in, again, expectations to win. All these guys, when we talk about this top tier of these 450 guys, none of them are messing around. They all are coming for wins, which is kind of cool, and I love that. That's what we need in the premier class, and obviously once the U.S. borders get open, we get back to normal life. All things will be good, and we'll have a ton of competition for these guys. But right now, our premier guys that are on the teams, we're fighting all year. Welton showed up. He was the only person, from what I recall, to get maybe just one other time, but a straight up moto win on Dylan where Dylan didn't crash.
That was tough too. Like he was going at it. They're going at it. Like
just straight start to finish W.
So that was huge. I think Welton's year was awesome. Jumping from the 250 to 450, I don't think people expected much like Pettis. They're both rookies in the 450 class, but Welton, he showed up every weekend, and maybe he didn't have the speed. And I honestly want to say that like it might have just been that knowledge of these tracks. Like he's had some years on these tracks, but at the same time, like Deschambault, he's only rode that in 2019 when he was on Sky. He didn't race it in 2020. And Pettis and Wright had that upper hand where Pettis rode for MX 101 in Sand Lee. He knows that track. Wright grew up there. Wright rides for Go for Dunes now. So Weldon put up a great fight for not knowing these tracks as well as the other 3 riders in that top 4.
Yeah, that's homeland to them, And in the Armor Rewinds that you and Galdi have been doing all season here, he says over and over again that it is tough to come in and duke it out on someone's home turf. Like these Canadian boys can rip these tracks, and to come in and not give that the benefit of the doubt as far as like competition wise, I think is unjust for sure.
No, I do, and to deal with the whole team, like the team manager, Chad Goodwin, is American.
Yeah.
So Welton's American and Sinai's American. So that made it challenging in itself. They can't go home. They're the only three that can't go home. They ended up with the 250 Triple Crown, and they came very close to get the 450 Triple Crown being under the circumstances of all that. So that plays a huge factor as well. But going down the list of the Triple Crown, third in the Triple Crown, 4 wins, 7 podiums. Dylan Wright obviously was hands-on, like going to win the Triple Crown with that just awful crash there in Supercross. But unfortunate, but man, he's the man. And I think that moving forward, he's going to be tough to beat. The only thing that might change in his run for 2022 championship is the fact that going out west and the different tracks. I really do feel like this series has played into his favor. Hey, he still crushes it. He's still unreal fast. But I'm just saying, like, he's had issues out west before in the past, and that could cause play in favor of Pettis.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head again. Dylan shows up with coming off of an unbelievable year last year where he had to fend off Phil, which was no slouch of a job to do, and he, for lack of a better word, he made it look easy. Like he was riding at a phenomenal level last year, carried that in this year. That whole GDR team is just phenomenal. The way that they got that run right now, as far as top to bottom with their program, their bikes right now, the Honda bikes, you're seeing it in the U.S. doing good. Kennedy's doing great. Seeing it here. That Dylan's obviously making that thing work too, and showed up. Got the wins when he needed them. Didn't really have any.
He was his own worst enemy at times, crashing and stuff.
Did we put behind like 2018 Dylan though? Is this a new Dylan?
I think it's going to be a new Dylan when he goes. I do think that. But I want to say, when we go out west and we have a whole series from coast to coast, I think that's when that hatchet will be buried, because he doesn't spend much time in those western tracks, much like any eastern rider. And that's when we're going to be like, oh, okay, there we go, we're good. And I honestly think it's going to be a no-brainer. It's going to be Dylan Wright championship to lose again. But I'm saying, like, I just want to see it done. As far as like go out west, get it done. Come back east, dominate like you always do. And there we go.
And I mean, as far as him, last thing on Dylan is, like, I think it's a great ride all year. It's unbelievable. I just really want someone, and I think you and Galdi talk about this all the time, I want someone to go put Canada on the map down in the U.S. He has the speed right now to really go do some damage, and I think that he'd be very underestimated. Love to see it.
I would love to see him go down there, and I know he could get a ride. The only thing holding him back is his Supercross skills, and he's talked about it. He wants to get better at that, and that's I've talked to so many managers down there when I spent the time down there, and they're like, Supercross first, outdoor second. It is what it is. If you ride outdoor good, you at least got to ride in a top 10 pace for Supercross. So, but regardless, I would love to see him take his GDR bike down there and do a series, because I honestly could see him top 5 battling with those guys. And at weekends, be a podium threat. Like, that's how good he is.
I swear he's that good. Anyways, great season, Dylan. Top notch.
And moving right along to his counterpart there. These guys have battled for years. Jess Pettis, rookie 450 rider this year on his KTM. He ended up with 3 wins, 6 podiums, and then ended it with a crash. But he came back to seal the deal on second overall in the MX by riding injured with a broke back, getting a 5th there. So just a soldier, and man, what a year.
I think I have to give him the nod for best rookie season in the 450. I mean, just it's a personal Isaiah award, but there you go, Jess. I think just great speed all year, great determination. Showed up, did what he had to do. He had great rounds at Walton, especially when it was the 3 round or 3 rides.
Yes, 3 15-minute motos.
Yeah, 3 15-minute motos. Crushed that. Comes into Gopher with the red plates. He talked about it. I talked to him doing some interviews that he didn't expect to have a red plate once this year. And then all of a sudden he finds himself in the hunt against Dylan. Like, he was there.
That changes. I don't know. He was so much more confident after that happened. Like, I just feel like, whoa. At first, he was shocked that he was there, and then after, he expected to be there, and that's a huge difference.
It's a massive, like we always talk about. It's like that difference is the start. Like that difference is that when that gate drops, your brain tells you, I need to be in the front of this pack.
He was
not anywhere else.
I can't remember how many starts he did. He missed like 1 or 2 pole shots of all the ones he did.
Yeah, cleaned up. Shout out Royal Distributing.
Yeah, Royal Distributing paid for a lot of stuff for Jess Pettis, and she crushed it.
Yeah.
Added the wallet, but so that's what put him. He put himself out front, where Dylan would put him in the back and had to come through all these guys. So hey, you put yourself in the right spot. We said that about Canella and McNabb, who started bad. Like you got to put yourself out front. That's what you have to do. So
got to get there, and then like. Go to Deschambault. We get to Deschambault. He is, again, he has the red plate.
Yeah, got it back.
Got the red plate back again with 2 rounds to go. And he was in a good position that had they have finished 1-2 that moto, after Dylan got by him, he still carried the red plate into the final round.
Yeah. Weird crash too on the tabletop, pulling a tear off or something like that. It was a weird one. He was trying to get the tear offs that were rattling. You know how annoying that is.
Yeah.
He was trying to get that off and crashed. Man, so thankful he was all right, because that was scary. At one point, we didn't know on the broadcast of what happened to him or why he was down or how bad it was. So to see him race Walton, a couple weeks later, man, that was sick. Yeah. So keep going here. Another a good rider from BC, Parker Eels. He ended up top 5 in the Triple Crown. Yeah, a little slow clap. I like that. Parker Eels ended up top 5, got a career number of 18. Loved it. Career number. I saw, man, that'd be a huge feat. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
He had 3 top 5s, 10 top 10s there, and just kind of was always in the mix from that 5 to 10 area, battling out hard and coming from behind. I feel like bad starts, coming from behind every time.
Yeah, he had some phenomenal rides, like you said, down on the starts. Obviously, a huge standout. Again, Deschambault. A lot happened in Quebec. I feel like we keep going back there. It was a busy round. Like, even when we get down this list, there'll be some more Quebec stuff that we talk about. But yeah, Parker, bad starts to 5th places in some motos, right up there against guys that like the likes of Tremblay and that kind of group. He was just off that lead pack, but fast enough that he was in the conversation all year, which I think for Parker was a major improvement opposed to last year.
Yeah, and it's crazy. He's still very young. I want to say 21 or
22.
Man, still so young. He's younger than Pettis and Wright, who are both 24. They're the same age. And, man, you think 2 years, I don't expect him to be at that level, but I expect him maybe that 3 to 5 range if he just keeps improving like he has been. So, man, Parker Eels, a solid year again. Good job on that career number 18.
Yeah,
love to see it. And moving right along to a career number 5, that's Tyler Medaglia on that Gas Cobequid ride. And bit of an underdog, like, coming in. They went 2 podiums, 4 top 5s, and those guys getting it done.
Yeah, no one kind of knew TDEX, and I don't even know if TDEX knew TDEX program coming into this year. He's the classic Tyler way, but he, him and the Cobequid Mountain Sports team, shout out to Alex Parker, the owner of that team, they put together a solid program to give them what they need. Gas stepped up, helped them quite a bit this year, and Tyler really delivered for what their goal was. He's been down in the U.S. all winter and kind of doing a little bit of everything. That guy's a wild man. Yeah. Where can I line up? Let's go. Let's go. But
they're dropping a gate over here in the Walmart parking lot. He's there. He's buzzing around.
He's like, another Woods. Let's go. Okay. But yeah, no, he crushed it. Great year from TDEX. More back on the podium again. I think probably more times on the podium than the previous year. I don't even know if we got up twice.
Man, I'd have to look back at that. But
regardless.
He's been, like, you think about his career and how it's like 19 years of racing pro at that level. Are you kidding me? Like, this guy is just Iron Man, and it's he's going to make it 2 decades. Like, I know he'll be lining up next year for at least 1, 2, maybe the whole series. And that's 2 decades of riding pro nationals. That's impressive.
Wow. That's almost as old as Parker Eels is. Sorry, Tyler. But you're 2 years behind
Parker Eels in age for your pro career. But good job. Gas has got to be thrilled with him. But, they got to be a little bit like with the Logan Leitzel situation. He has a career number 20, and he just didn't show up. I don't know what's the deal. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as, like, factory team, I think that there has to be some, obviously, it's a business. There has to be some talks made at Gas about that I'm not really sure how that's going to go for the Steve Sims team. I know he was the manager of the OTSFF team, the Yamaha team, which unfolded last year. The support went over to the MX 101, and he took on the brand of, being the head gas team. But unfortunately, they had guys that didn't show up. Shout out to Ryan Derry for filling in and getting his best, getting his best career. Finished in the top 10. But as a factory team, I think that just the requirements are a little bit more than that. And the other gas squad, which was the out of a trailer, same kind of thing, was showing up with podiums. So it's tough.
It is a tough look, but I'm sure they'll get it sorted out, and all the best. If Logan was dealing with something, illness, injury, we wish him the best to heal up, because we know he's an exceptional rider, and it just wasn't his year there. But a couple of guys I want to mention before we go to break there, Tim Tremblay and Sean Moffenbauer. Moffenbauer had some good rides, hurt his knee, bummer, and then Tim Tremblay had a spectacular ride going, and then a spectacular crash there at Deschambault.
Yes, again, both these riders can kind of define their highlights and lows in Quebec.
Yeah, I know.
Everything, Quebec was a turning point. Sean gets his first podium of the year. No, sorry. He did. Sean had a few podiums. Sean got a podium at Gopher.
Might have been in Santa Lucia too.
Yeah.
Just in motos. He didn't get any overall podiums.
No, but he showed some good speed up on the box at Gophers to start the year, kind of carried it on throughout the year. Another good one. Podium one day, out in the start.
A freak accident on the start, out of his control. And then Tim Tremblay battling for the lead with his teammate Jess Pettis, and he goes flying off that jump. And you can see pictures online. Spectacular crash.
It was
and
wild.
Bummer to see. He broke some ribs. Glad to see him get up all right, and not able to compete the rest of the season. But man, what a year for him, and him being a B rider in that KTM program, he held up that flag big time. Those Cole, Jess, and Tim sometimes 1, 2, and 3 off the start. Those guys were buzzing around there. It was pretty cool to see.
They had to be happy.
Well, that's pretty much it for my 450 breakdown. My list of riders I want to talk about. Obviously, there's a lot of good riders in that class. Those are the guys that we kind of top guys there in that class. So. Good job by everybody, and we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with some more insideX.
Some more later.
Welcome back to the farm and another edition of Royal Distributing Unboxing here. And the crew over Royal Distributing, I went on the website, dialed it in because I know I need a new tire. We got the Hoosier tire here, but more importantly, how to put that tire on. I know I've struggled with this in the past. Growing up, I used to beg my older brother, hey, change my tire. I'll do your filters for a year to change a tire. So they sent us over the Max tire changer here. Just some assembly required here, and we're good to go. Along with that Max tire changer, they sent us some tire spoons by Max. So these guys, MAXX Tools, dialed in. These spoons, I grew up with those hard iron spoons. These are nice. They got a nice little handle to them. So we're gonna crack into those. Last but not least, to help us put the tire back on, the Motion Pro Bead Buddy. These guys got it dialed in. When that bead's slipping, you're trying to put the tire on, this thing's gonna help out a lot. And if you're like me, these products here, they're gonna make your life easier. Instead of using the bucket or the cement floor or whatever, you can use this Max tire changer. We're gonna give it a go. We'll check back in a minute. All right, guys, there you have it. I put the Hoosier tire on, and then this Max tire stand, very impressed with it. I'm used to the taller stand where you're standing up, so I was a little bent over compared to being in a stood up position, or a strong position. But with the handle on this machine, it makes it easy to break that bead. And sometimes the bead is the hardest part about the whole thing. Even when I was reinstalling the main side, the other side, when you're just getting to the end, I just used the big arm and pushed it right down with that added soap you put on there. Thing slid on perfectly. The Hoosier tires, a little bit of stiffer compound on the wall, so a trickier tire to put on with a bucket or just on the floor like I was saying earlier. So with this tire stand, man, it came on like nothing. Just that little bit of soap pumped her up. We're gonna check that air pressure. I'm gonna run it at about a 12.5. I don't like to do 13, maybe a little superstition. Gonna run it at a 12.5. We're gonna probably try these out next time as we're running out of time here at the farm today. But man, the tools, Max Tools, MAXX, check them out, royaldistributing.com. You can punch that right in there, the Max Tools. Get the tire stand, you can take that in your truck, your van, keep it at home. That thing's gonna work mint for you guys, change your tire. And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't changed a tire in like over a year, maybe even longer. So I was rusty. I did this thing in 10 minutes, no problem, no sweat, maybe a little sweat. But no, check them out, Max Tires, royaldistributing.com. I'm gonna reinstall this thing, check the air pressure, and we're gonna test it out next time, so tune into insideX, and we'll see you guys later.
I will never stop. Would you want me to slow down? Would that make it easier for you? Or would you want the fight? The pour your heart into it kind of fight? Or should I stop working so hard? I know you'd want me to slow down. I know it would make it easier for you. But then the gate drops. I wouldn't be anywhere else. One goal, one vision.
Welcome back to insideX, Isaiah. We're back at it again, buddy.
Here we
and
go.
We're going to talk about awards this time, man. And lots of good stuff going on in the industry. And we always do pretty much these 5 awards. We've kind of kept consistent. We have had some other awards during the past, but the last 2 years we just kept it simple. Mm-hmm. The first one I want to get to, Team of the Year. So before we get to, I was going to say the name, but before we get there, who would you throw out there? Like some good teams and why? Like,
I mean, you gotta give props where props are due. So let's talk champions. Let's talk Cowie team.
Yep.
Delivered a 250 Triple Crown. KTM delivered a solid program as far as getting the Supercross overall in Cole. And then underdogs that really kind of made their mark with the outdoors. Sky Racing team, they did they did work. PRMX also did work.
Yeah,
They weren't necessarily around. They were just not in the conversation as much as they were for Supercross.
With Casey Keese getting hurt early in the series, that kind of cost them any chances there. And just, PRMX just wasn't 100% dialed in all year, but when it came to Supercross, they were good. So they were underdog as well as, like, you can't count out GDR, man. They had they have fire coming out there. They had McNabb, Ward, and Wright, obviously all title contenders. But voted on this year, team of the year, Sky Racing, Al Dick. Got it dialed in, man, and you got to give it to him. Piccolo, Bennick, and Elmore, who's there. He left the team later on in the year, but man, they were just consistently in that 250 class, like either on the podium, top 5 with Bennick, and top 10 with Elmore. Yep. They put 3 guys in the top 10 all the time.
They had a phenomenal year. They got their program together. You know, they were another one of the teams that's from the West. Another year of COVID, which meant another year in Ontario for us in the Central rounds. So we had to stay Central this year, and they had to stay here all summer. Yeah, they basically ran out of their vans. Piccolo was out of his motorhome all summer, and they showed up, delivered a championship with very limited resources, opposed to a team like GDR that had 2 guys firing on all cylinders, which, again, shout out to GDR, but phenomenal out of the Sky guys.
You really, put it in perspective. These guys are driving like 40-plus hours to get here and live here for, I think it was the 10-week duration of the series. And you look at a team like GDR who's got all the resources right there. They have everything they need, and more, like there's 3 weekends that we were at Gopher Dunes facility. Yeah. So it's a David and Goliath situation there, and man, Sky Racing getting that motocross championship. Good job, Al Dick, putting that together. Good job, Jacob Piccolo. Bennick and Elmore, man,
Yeah.
what a team. What a powerhouse team on a small budget, small rig there.
Yeah.
They get the nod there for Team of the Year, Sky Racing. Awesome work going right along. Rookie of the Year, and there was 2 guys that came to mind coming in, and I would say the 2 guys leaving there. It's Ryder McNabb or Julian Bennick, and we know obvious reasons Ryder McNabb's going to take that win there.
Yep.
Just exceptional at 15 years old.
He put together what most would be a dream rookie season. Tons of wins, tons of battles, ups and downs that really define. I think there was some great lessons learned. I think one of the great lessons that will come out of Ryder's year is going from this close to winning the entire thing into third place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a great lesson for the guy.
But, third place by 1 point. It's tough. It's just tough. The racing was so tight up there. And, he stole a show for a lot of times. I think he gained a lot of fans along the way that might not have known him, coming in. Obviously, he had a great year last year as an intermediate. This year, first year pro, getting the Rookie of the Year. Shout out to Julian Bennick, man. If it wasn't for Ryder McNabb, that was pretty unreal rookie year. He didn't look like a kid that just came out of intermediate. He didn't at all. Like, he looks awesome in the bike, and especially in his supercross skills. We were waiting for him to pop off. Obviously, he got hurt right at the end, but waiting for him to pop off and get on that podium there in the supercross.
Yeah, exactly, Kyle. That Julian had another great year, top 5s all year, top 10s. Stayed really, really consistent under that Sky rig, and same thing, great bike under him. He was on the Yamaha side of it, where Jake was on the KTM side. A little bit more support, we could say, went to Jake. But as an overall program to give to a guy like Julian and the rookie class, couldn't ask for much better rookie
just
season.
A nice, soft-spoken kid walking through the pits. Just so kind, and he gets out on the bike, and he's guns a-blazing. So cool to see. I love to see that BC kid living out here on the East Coast. So
yeah, and last point on him, I interviewed him at the last round of Supercross, and he was going in there. By the end of the season, his only goal was podiums.
Yeah,
he wanted nothing other than podiums.
Yeah. Get that podium.
Yeah.
He almost had it too. I feel like if he had some better starts in Supercross, he had the speed to do it. But man, good job there. Ryder McNabb, Rookie of the Year. The Parts Canada Rookie of the Year. Got to give that a shout out. Well there, done. Parts Canada hooking up the Rookie of the Year. Mechanic of the Year going along. And I know we talked about before the show, there's some names that, for instance, Justin Petkirk, and I know he has yet.
He has never had a pro DNF with the GDR team or since he's been there. At all. Not one single moto where a chain snapped and his bike couldn't finish. Nothing.
That's insane.
And I'm behind the scenes with that
flat tire
with that team. Oh. Nothing. Flat tire that come off the rim. Like Dylan's had his bike fall apart. I know he wasn't with him, with Justin, but there's just incidents that happen. That is motocross. And the fact that he's done this career, like that has to be some immense pressure. He's won this a few times before.
Yeah, he's got 4 in a row right now as the mechanic for the rider. Like obviously Colton Pasiotti went 2 in a row, and then now Dylan Wright. But I think it's 5 total. Would that be right? Because back in 2014, Colton was with Honda, and that's his mechanic. So he's a good mention there. A couple others. Steve Beattie had a great year with Cole Thompson. Going down the list there. Nico, he did great with Pettis moving to that 450 class.
Yep. And I think obviously Al. He
has Andrew McLean working for Jacob. So those guys, great job on the sky bikes. But mechanic of the year is Jaden Brown.
Yes.
The Kawasaki mechanic for Darian Sinai. He got that Triple Crown championship. And man, back-to-back 250 Triple Crowns mechanic of the year as well. So Jaden Brown came from Sky Racing the year before. Richard Taylor, not a great year, to winning the Triple Crown. Man, that's got to feel great. What
a crazy turn of events, going from, for both the guys, for Jaden and for the Sky, they had a massive turnaround. Jaden had a massive turnaround, and it kind of worked out for everybody. Jaden ends up getting, Darian. That's a lot of pressure as a mechanic to deal with a big name coming in like that.
Yeah.
You have someone who knows what they want in a bike.
Yeah.
They know their setup. They know all the ins and outs of what they want, and to get thrown into the mix of a new team, kind of the biggest, I would say, mechanic role that he's definitely ever had, to deliver the championships, not get any DNFs, I think that deserves a well pat on the
Oh
back.
yeah, and mechanic of the year, Jaden Brown. There, that's huge because he's young, and he's dealing with Sinai, who's 25. He's young as well, but Sinai is well beyond his years and experience riding the GPs, arena cross, supercross, all the amateur nationals the kids went through. He's been on a bike for so many years and just been at that level that Jaden would probably feel intimidated going into the season, just wanting to be perfect. And to deliver the Triple Crown Championship with no DNFs, no issues there, getting it done. His rider just kept plugging away, getting better. Good job, Jaden and the Kawasaki squad for getting that done. But moving right along, track of the year. And, man, we've only got to a few this year again. Obviously, Go for Dunes putting on Supercross, putting on the Great Outdoors, Walton doing double rounds there, Sanderley having a great national, and as well as Deschambault. But the nod goes to Deschambault, Daniel and Jacob over there. Love working with those guys, and they're going to be track of the year here, 21.
I think it'd be hard to argue. I think it'd be hard to argue that that wasn't the round that, turned out a ton of fans for Canadian Moto. I think it'd be hard to argue that track didn't, come very prepared. As far as maintenance-wise, track was looking phenomenal. Racing was fantastic. Couple scary things. They put on the ECAN as well.
Yeah, so and that was the biggest ECAN they ever had. So I want to say, like, doing that, they rebound after a year off and came back with a strong ECAN. The track was amazing. Kevin Benoit shows up in the premix class, and the fences were lined at 9 a.m. watching Kevin Benoit battle Weston Rosina.
Dude, him versus Weston Rosina was some of the best racing all year. Like, those fans over there in Quebec are wild. Yeah. And then they just see Kevin on a 120 or 150, just letting the thing scream. And like, can you imagine what Weston was feeling? Like, he's just like, this is Kevin Benoit in his hometown. I'm meeting him right now. What happens from here? I don't know.
And that's what, like, Quebec rounds always deliver, is those crazy fans. They got the air horns, they got the chainsaws, they got the spray paint or whatever all over the body. And man, that's what they showed up at 9 a.m. to watch Kevin Benoit. And going into the Monday One Moto format, there was no fans. Daniel buttoned it up, redid the whole track. I redid the whole track. I know how much I'm a track builder. Like, I know how much that takes, and he got it all done up, ready to go, and it was just a nice little Monday morning. Too bad. The only thing that was bad about it, Jess Pettis getting hurt, but man, that track was fire all weekend. So good job, Deschambault, track of the year. Jacob, I know you'll be pumped. Daniel doing a great job out there. Keep it up. Can't wait to go back there for the ECAN Pro National in 22. And moving to the last award we have here, most improved rider. And there's a lot of people that improved a bunch. You can talk about Ryan Derry, Parker Eels, guys like that, Daniel Elmore, many down the list.
I think you got to throw in Yannick in that conversation.
Yannick Boucher, amazing riding.
Like, guess number 17, I think it is, or 18? 17, because 18 is, But what a turnaround for all these guys, You
could say about Davey Fraser and Weston Rosina, who turned it on at the end of the year. Those guys,
whoa. Davey, has been, I would say, at the speed he's at right now before. But I would say the last 2 years kind of haven't been this Davey Fraser. And then all of a sudden, boom, second in a moto. Yeah. Boom, third overall. Like, congrats to those guys.
Yeah, good job by him. But I'll get back to the award. Most improved rider is going to Daniel Elmore, the BC rider. I think he's from way up north BC, but quiet kid. But, man, he is fast on a dirt bike. This Sky Racing squad, I got to say, they picked up some good riders, and I didn't expect Daniel Elmore to be that competitive. Even right to the bitter end, he was injured. You see him walking through the pits, holding his arm, still out there racing Supercross, getting it done.
He didn't go. I remember watching last moto, Supercross, doesn't go for hot lap, doesn't attack the start, but still, went out, rode the moto, and, He trooped. He'd put in a solid effort all year, even with the little bit of controversy that happened with him and Sky. Him leaving Sky, shows up with his own program and makes it happen. Yeah,
he got it done, man. He looked awesome, and I can see him most improved and just keep climbing because he's young and he's hungry. He went to Club MX. He rode with Jacob Piccolo, and I feel like the window between Piccolo and Elmore was a lot bigger last year. I feel like he's closed that gap. If you're doing comparisons, now Piccolo's a champion. Elmore has closed that gap with him. So I could see Elmore sneaking in that top 5 next year if he keeps on that trajectory.
Yeah, I would say definitely. like zero to hero kind of in his own right. You didn't hear a whole lot of his name last year.
No.
You didn't hear a whole lot of
the
it.
odd top 10. I think you maybe one top 10 all year.
Yeah, and everything else than that was kind of outside there. And this year, the guy was consistent and showed that he had the speed to be even up a little bit further than maybe where the numbers on paper even show. I'd say put in a great year.
Yeah, so
Well
congrats.
deserved, yeah.
Most Improved Rider Award, Daniel Elmore there. He was with Sky. He did it on his own. He stuck it out. Good job on him. I hope he made it home safe there at BC. He's going to be back racing in 2022 when we hit the Western rounds out there. He'll be buzzing back to some home turf. But that is it. That is the awards for 2021. Lots of good stuff, lots of good racing. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with some more insideX. Welcome back to insideX and another episode in the books. But before I let you guys go, the Husqvarna social media check-in and those white bikes bringing you guys the action this week. And this week, we are going to talk about the amateur champions from Walton Transcan. And there was a ton of them, but I'm going to break down a few. Check these guys out in social media. The first one on my list, Wyatt Kerr. Man, he battled it out and was kind of in that shadows of Sebastian Racine all week long, but he got a championship in one of his classes there in intermediate. Good job by him, just in the trenches, battling, fighting for position, and chasing around a youngster that is destined for factory team, Sebastian Racine. So Wyatt Kerr, he'll be on team shortlist for the coming years as he makes his rookie debut next year. And his counterpart there, Sebastian Racine, there's a great shot of him on his social media. And he wrapped up 2 titles there and was in that running. That one bad moto where he got a 4th. It lost him the bronze boot. He would have had a perfect week, got a 4th there, and went to somebody else we're going to talk about in a minute. But another great year for Sebastian Racine. He went on to race Supercross and outdoors and stuff like that and had awesome rides, top 5 rides as an intermediate. So look for him maybe on that short list of Rookie of the Year for 2022. Sebastian Racine in the KTM squad. Another rider, a young Husky rider, that's Parker Hatt. And I got the privilege of watching this kid ride. He always tags insideX on Fox, so thank you, Parker, for tagging us up. But Parker Hatt, he is a taller kid on a 50, but man, did he handle that Walton track like perfection on that 50cc with those massive ruts, those tiny wheels navigating through there. So Parker Hatt, keep up that good work out in the West Coast there. Can't wait to see what you do in 22. Moving right along, another youngster, but from the East Coast, Dylan Rempel. He's riding for that factory Kawasaki squad. They had a great year there. And Dylan Rempel wrapping up the Super Mini and the 85 championship. And he went on to do Supercross, some awesome stuff there, winning Parts Canada Amateur Opens. He won some stuff at Deschambault, at the ECAN. The kid just won all year long. We're hopefully going to see him back in the minis, maybe in the schoolboy to intermediate range next year. Not sure what he's going to, his group growth spurt if over the winter. We're going to see and keep tabs on him, but check him out on social media as Dylan Rempel. And then an old dog, the truck driver for KTM, Mark Dion, getting that 40-plus championship. Good job, Mark. He is one of the hardest working guys in the pits there. He is driving the truck, getting that truck set up, doing the dinners, working on the bikes, racing, and winning championships. Add that to the list. There's a great shot of Mark Dion there at Walton Transcan, getting it done. And last but not least, Tanner Scott did the impossible. Only one other rider I can think of, good old buddy of mine, Peter Raymer, did this. And he went 9 for 9 moto wins, bronze boot, 3 championships. Tanner Scott getting it done there and looking strong. Watch for him going to intermediate next year and possibly coming to a pro national near you if he plays the Pro-Am card. So Tanner Scott, good job, man, on your championships. Look forward to seeing what you do in the future. And that is it for the Husqvarna social media check-in. And that is it for our show. Man, another insideX, and we are in the twilight stage of our season 2 here. couple more episodes to come your way. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're going to your local dealer. Get the Parts Canada, Thor gear, Alpine Star boots, Alpine Star helmet. Get you dialed in. Royal Distributing, if you can't get to a store, dial it in there on the royaldistributing.com and get that blue crew under you. That Yamaha, that PW50 for the little guys, that YZF 450 for the big guys. But thanks again for tuning in to insideX. Join us next week for more.